Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of the series, The Greatest Things Ever Said, where I take something profound and brilliant and unpack it a bit. Here, I want to talk about something that's so influential. It's not so much an epigrammatic quote that you might see, but it's basically Plato's cave. And the best part of the quote I've managed to pull up is, "To them I said, the truth would be literally nothing but the shadows of the images." And, Plato's cave, it remains one of the most powerful illustrations of the human condition. And it's definitely worth my place in this series, I think, because it is one of the greatest things ever said. Because it's such a common pattern throughout human considerations of such a multitude of subjects. Humans are, in so many ways, they're like prisoners who they're chained in the cave, seeing only the shadows on a wall and mistaken those shadows for the reality because they've never seen the real objects and the objects that cast those shadows. So they take the shadows to be reality itself. Humans, they live in caves of assumptions and fears and cultural narratives, unexamined beliefs, media narratives, ideological bubbles, social pressures, trauma responses, I suppose, or simply the unquestioned habits of our minds, the perennial human tendency to confuse those shadows for truth because shadows feel more familiar and they feel safer. I guess our cave is whatever keeps us from seeing reality with clarity or taking us out of our comfort zone. But it doesn't end there, of course, because I think the most striking part of the allegory is actually what happens when someone's freed. At first, the light sort of hurts. It's too bright for what we're used to. It's painful before it's liberating. When we first confront our own biases, our own illusions, our tribal in-group mentality, our wounds, our false beliefs, there's a disorientation. I guess we can long for the comfort of the shadows we once trusted and that were familiar to us. But if we persevere, if our eyes adjust and we can discover that deeper world, that richer, more complex, more challenging, more exhilarating, more profound, and more liberating world. And once we see it, we can't then unsee it. The old shadows, they look thin and actually they look unworthy of our senses, if you like. And of course the truest point in case here is Christianity itself. I often talk about courage in my blog. And for me, I think Plato's cave is about courage as much as anything else. It's about it's the it's the courage to question the stories and beliefs we've inherited. It's the courage to examine our motives, to step into the light of truth, even when it exposes what were illusions. But of course, the reward is so profound. It's a life grounded in reality, no longer held captive by the shadows. So it's definitely worth being in my series. That the greatest things ever said. Plato's Cave is one of the most important and enduring things, I think. Thank you for watching and hope it was helpful. Please do subscribe and I'll catch you next time. And